Hello and welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been so long since I've sat down and filmed a video in my home, literally since before we went to Florida, which was like a month ago. So that is just unacceptable. But I am back and I am going to be tackling something that I've been putting off for so long because I'm just like, I know that it just needs to get done, but it's just chaos. And that is organizing, decluttering, and kind of just taking out things that I don't necessarily need and condensing my makeup collection. So I'm gonna show that to you guys. I kind of just have it all in a jar and I really just want to condense. I feel like I have way too much makeup, like I don't need it. And there's also just things, the same thing with my lipstick declutter video. If you haven't seen that one, just look in the playlist down below and you'll find it. I kind of just went through my lipstick. I had through my lipstick jar. I had lipsticks there for years. So it's kind of the same thing with my brushes, eyeshadow palettes, eye toppers, blushes, all the other makeup. So today's the day. I am going to tackle that whole entire thing and I really just want to condense it. When I show it to you guys, you kind of see I have just things everywhere. So I kind of want to just organize where everything is in the order that I do my makeup. So it's just a lot easier to kind of just get my stuff and also just keep my vanity clear. I don't want anything out. I just, whatever fits in the jars. So if you would like to see the before and after of my makeup collection, well then just keep on watching. Okay, so hi. So the first thing that I want to do is work on this. So this is sort of just my vanity desk, which I got on Amazon. Amazing. It has a mirror over here, and then here I sort of just had all my everyday things. So I had just a little bit of my everyday makeup, but then slowly things started changing around and I kind of just have a bunch of stuff in here. So I think the first thing that I want to do is empty this out completely, because what I'm thinking is I want to put all my eyeshadow palettes here. Since I usually use this anyways to do my makeup, I can easily just pick the palette that I want to use and then I don't need to go in here. This was kind of just becoming a problem because I had all my everyday things. So then once I put the mirror on top, it was just becoming troublesome to open and close. And so I just want to keep my palettes here. I want to store all the palettes here. Let's see, because I have 2 drawers full of palettes. So that's gonna be the first thing that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna just take all of this out, put it on the other desk, and then we'll start with a blank slate. All right, so this is all clean and clear. We took everything out, wiped it out, and then now I want to get started on bringing in palettes. So this is kind of where it's gonna get a little more challenging because I have found myself to be an eyeshadow collector. So there's a lot of palettes that I know are a lot older and I kind of just keep them for collection. So I do want to just get a lot more picky as to what will make its home here. So I also am trying to figure out how I want to be able to put them, because if I stack them up like this, then I won't be able to see them. So I would ideally like to utilize as much space as possible here to just be able to have them standing, and then the larger palettes can go in here. So let's work this out and then see what I'm gonna be keeping and what I'll kind of be putting to the side. And then okay, so I think what we can start with is kind of just going through all the palettes and seeing which ones I want to keep. Then once we have all the ones that I want to keep, I can organize them. So I have this Urban Decay Born to Run, which is really pretty. I haven't used this one though, but it does have some colors that I might use. So we'll keep this one for now. I just got the Mulan one, which I'm obsessed with. I love this color scheme, so definitely keeping that. I have these 2 Morphes, and these are old school ones. These are from back in the day. So I think actually I'll get rid of these just because I've had these for a really long time, and I have a lot of other nude palettes that I think I would get better use out of. I've had these for a while, so I think I'll put these to the side. I need to be strict or else I will want to keep everything, and that's not what we're trying to do. Okay, next up I have some of my Juvia's palettes, and these surprisingly I don't really use that much. So I'm gonna be very picky. I'm just gonna open all 3, and I think honestly I might just keep one with the color scheme that I would use the most. These are the colors. This is the Nubian 2, I believe it's called. Yeah. So that's pretty. But these are like also huge pans that I don't think I'll be using. This one is the Masquerade Mini, which has a lot of nice bright colors. And then we have this one called the Saharan. I think I'll get rid of this one. Let's see, between the Nubian, oh, I actually have some more. So, and I apologize in advance for the squeakiness of my stool. I don't know why it squeaks so much. All right, so let's see, and then I have the Nubian. So this one is the Nubian, which is kind of just like the original neutral palette. I think actually I might get rid of this because now my collection has grown a lot when it comes to neutral palettes. So I really want to stick to the formulas and the palettes that I usually like navigate towards. And I feel like I have a lot of these, and this one also, I'm using more mattes, and this one has a lot of shimmers. So I find that I probably won't be using this palette just specifically to go to these four, and I have other palettes that are kind of just all matte or have a lot more matte options than this. So I think I'll be getting rid of that. We have 3 colorful palettes, so I'm just gonna open them again and see which one I would keep. This one is the Magic palette, and this one has really big pans, but honestly, once again, I don't think I'll be using any of these colors, so I'll be getting rid of this one. Oh my goodness, my older sister would be so sad because she's obsessed with Juvia's palettes, and she has all of these. But I just don't use them that much. It's kind of the same thing with this color palette. I would really just use this color. Everything else is pretty much just something I won't really use, so I think I'll get rid of that as well. And I think maybe I will keep this one for now so that I can have one Juvia's palette. And I do like that it has some bright colors, some blues, some purples, and it also has my browns. I love this color called Zobo. It looks really, really pretty, so I think we'll keep this one. Wow, okay, we are cutthroat. I have this Nabla Dreamy palette, which I love. I love the Nabla palettes. They're so good. So I'll definitely be keeping this one. Let's keep going. All right, so next up I have some Hudas. So let me just make sure that the light is coming nicely. We have the Huda Beauty Remastered palette, and this one is a little dirty. So let me just clean that there. And I don't think I've used this since I bought it, but I like this palette. So I'll definitely be keeping it, hoping to use it a little bit more. And I love the formula of these up here. There's some really good colors in here, so I'll definitely keep that one. I have this Huda Nude palette, which has these, and honestly this one's tricky. Just because I feel like this is a very mauve-y palette, and I like more like brownie palettes, but I don't know. I really do like these shades, which are like the shimmer shades. So this is a maybe. It's a maybe for now. And oh my goodness, this was like such an OG palette. I absolutely loved it. I think this was my first one that I got from her, and I just love this one. But I do feel like it's getting a little old. Like I was obsessed with this color Twilight, and it's just like not the same anymore. It's still very, very pretty though. But I just feel like, I don't know, like it crumbles a little bit, but I'll keep it, and then we'll see if we get use out of it or if we don't, and go from there. I have this Too Faced Best Year Ever 2018 palette, which honestly I don't really use much of, but I am gonna keep this as a collector's item because I remember I was gonna purchase this for my bridesmaids for my wedding, and 2018 was a really big year, so I really do feel like it really was the best year ever for me. I got married, I graduated with my master's degree, and I got my driver's license. So this one kind of just holds like memory, so I think I'll definitely be keeping that one. I also got the Burn Book from Storybook Cosmetics, I believe it is, and this one is also a collector's item. I don't think I've ever used any of these shadows, but these colors are just so pretty. Hold on, I'm just trying to show them to you so that you guys can see them. They're just really pretty, so I think I'll be keeping this, and also it's just a collector's item because it literally looks like the burn book from Mean Girls. So keeping that. Next up we have, let's see. So I'm kind of just going through all of my palettes. I have this, the Balm palette called Meet Mattes, and they're all kind of just like neutral matte colors, which I'll definitely be keeping because like I said, I find myself using mattes a lot more, and these are pretty much like cool tones and also a little bit of warm neutral colors, so I'll be keeping that. Oh my goodness, I have this little palette from Morphe from one of their holiday collections that I will be getting rid of because that one is definitely old. Oh my gosh, this is another one. I have this Morphe X Kathleen Lights, which I bought a while ago, which I will also sadly be getting rid of. But I just love this color. Literally, the palette is completely made by this color because it's like a pukey brown, which is just so good and so pretty to have in the palettes. But this one is an old one, and I think I'll also have that color in other palettes. I got this one last Christmas, which I'll definitely be keeping, from Kylie Cosmetics, and it is one of their holiday palettes. And I'm actually looking at this year's Grinch one just because I'm obsessed with the Grinch. But I don't know, like for some reason I'm not crazy about the palette, but I might get it just for, you know, collector's item. I also have this Pat McGrath palette. I think this was one of my first ones that I ever purchased from her. And this one is her Mothership Sublime, which is kind of just nudes. The only thing is, like, literally there's just one neutral color and then the rest are all metallics, but I'll keep it just because it's Pat McGrath and she's pricey. So that'll hurt my soul to let go of. Okay, we're making some moves here, people. We're making some moves. I have up next this Violet Boss, which I've had for a long time, so I think I might, it's still pretty good, honestly. They have some really good colors here. I've had this one for a while though, but this color scheme is just like perfection. So I think I might just keep it and see if I get some use out of it now that I'll have less palettes in here. I have this Pacifica palette that I got, which I'll be getting rid of because I just don't reach for it like ever. Then we have this So Jaded palette from Colourpop. I am keeping all of my Colourpop palettes because, hello, I'm obsessed and I love it. This color, Diamond, is like everything. So pretty, such a pretty eye topper, which is honestly what I'm really into. That's why I'm being so like cutthroat when it comes to the palettes, because I kind of already know what kind of eye toppers I like, and some of these like shimmers just don't cut it for me, so there's no point in keeping the palette solely based on that. I just rather buy my eye toppers on their own and just kind of work that over any palette. So yeah, that's that. We'll go through that also because I have a whole, I literally have an entire jar full of just eye toppers and like kind of things to put over the eye, glitters and stuff like that. I have this Tartelette in the Bloom, which I've had for a while also, and I haven't really used it much, but it is a really nice palette and I feel like it's just such a classic, so I'll definitely keep that one. I have Miss Tati Beauty, which I feel like I haven't heard anything from Tati in so long, but I have this palette, which I'm definitely keeping because it has pretty much like everything in here and it's kind of just like a neutral girl's dream. So I'll definitely be keeping this one. You can put her here. Kind of just start putting the big ones so that they can stand. We have Miss Jaclyn Hill, the original palette, which I'm definitely also keeping because these colors are just wow. Let's move it over here so that you guys can see it a little better. I absolutely love this color story. I just feel like I haven't used this because all my big palettes are literally kind of just like stuffed in the bottom of my jar, and then I literally never see them. This is another one that I got so much use out of. Hold on, let me try and fit the whole thing in the frame because it's massive. This is the Dare to Create eyeshadow palette from Morphe, and it literally has every single color that you can possibly think of. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this one. I need to just see how and where I'm going to store this one because she is massive. That's typically the problem with trying to find a home for those huge palettes. But moving on, we're almost all done with the big ones, and then we can move to the smaller ones. I also have this singles eyeshadow palette that I kind of just created with different shades, and I think a lot of these are Colourpop or Makeup Geek. So I'll definitely be keeping these just because, like I said, I find that I've been using matte shades a lot more. And then the last big palette that I have, or at least in that jar, is this Tartelette in the Bloom. Is that? No, not Tartelette in the Bloom. This Tarteist Pro. And I remember I took this on a cruise one year, a few years ago, and I did like 6 different eyeshadow looks on 6 different girls of my friends, and I absolutely loved it because I just love the layout of it. It's like all the mattes up here, and then you can use this as an eyeshadow topper, or kind of just use any of those. So I'll definitely, I don't know, can you see that? I'll definitely be using this one. Sorry, I'm trying to like get it so that you can see. There we go. So this is it. And that's kind of just this palette, so we'll say we can keep that one for now. The jar is clear. Now I want to get to the smaller palettes so that we can also put that in here. But before we get to that, let's actually just start with like kind of organizing what we have so far, because these are the bigger palettes. So I definitely want to have them laid out nicely, and let's try and fit as many of the big ones as we can. Pretty much everything else I kind of want to just stack, so that way I can easily see them when I'm looking for a palette to use. So let's get this going over here. I have the Best Year Ever palette here. All these like taller ones we can definitely kind of just like stand. Let me see, let's move this. We can put this So Jaded. So the idea was definitely to have all the palettes here just so I can see them a lot better, because I literally have, I feel like I don't see my palettes at all. So this would be a better way to just kind of be able to organize them and see them and be able to say, okay, like I want to use this palette today, I want to use that one today. So that's kind of the whole idea of how I'm having them here. We can definitely push these up, and I think this will be so much better. I might be able to even squeeze some eye toppers in here. So we'll see. Let me see if I can keep this one here. Yeah, that one also stands, and I just want to make sure that like everything closes right. So let's just see. Perfect. Yeah, this closes. So soaring. That can work like that, and then we can sort of just start like putting them like this in size order, just so I can see how they would work. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm gonna get to fit so many palettes in here. I might even be able to put some eyeshadow toppers in here. Let's see. Okay, so we can definitely put like, I want them in size order. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So much space, and we already got through one. So I'm also kind of just gonna add the palettes that I have on my Alex jar, which are like my go-to eyeshadow palettes, the ones that I took out that I was just like, I want to have these there to be able to use whenever I want. So I'm gonna take those out. I'm just trying to see, like, do I want to put things on top of this? Like, what do I want to do with this palette? This is the only thing with this palette. It's so good, but it's so big that it's just like, where do I put you that I can find you? That is the real tea. So moving on next. Okay, and honestly, I think that this video is just gonna end up being my palettes, because we're already like 16 minutes in, and I still have basically 2 more jars left of just eyeshadow palettes. So I think I'll just end up making this like a series. We'll do eyeshadows today, then we can do eye toppers, concealers, foundations, like all that other jazz on another day, and then brushes, like pretty much like I want to get through everything. So I'll do that, but I'll just break out the videos. So stay tuned to watch the rest, and let's just continue with the eyeshadow palettes. So here is my pride and joy, my collection of my Colourpop palettes, which I must say are one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes like ever. I love Colourpop. I love their formula. I love how they put colors together. I'm just obsessed with it. So I'm going to definitely organize those palettes just so that they can stand on their own right here. Just gonna use this as a little base so that they don't fall, because we don't want cracked eyeshadow. I also have my Anastasia's, which is my soft glam, the one that I get the most use out of. I have Modern Renaissance, which I haven't really used that much, but I want to. I have Norvina palette, which are my top 3 from Anastasia. So I feel like these we might be able to kind of just put over here. That way we can also get something to just stand over on this side, which awesome. All right, let's just take this one out because this one has me troubled. Should I put that on this side or that side? Yeah, well, we can keep that. All right, so let me just put this here until we find the spot for it. So we have our Anastasias on this side, Colourpops on this side. And let me just quickly show you which are the Colourpop palettes that I have. I have California Love, which I love. I have Double Entiende, I think it is, or Entendre. I don't know. I say everything with a Spanish accent. We have this one, which is I Think I Love You, another really pretty neutral palette. We have Sweet Talk, which is such a pretty color, especially for springtime, summertime. Love it. I'm just trying to see that you can see that. Perfect. We have Give It To Me Straight, which is another really pretty neutral color palette, and then the first ever that they came out with, which is Q8F. So those are the palettes that I have, and those are the palettes that I'll be keeping. Let's put them this way. And then I have more, but this is just the ones that are in my everyday. I have Going Coconuts, which I love. This is such a pretty one. Okay, are you gonna open? This is what it looks like. Very pretty and neutral. And then we have the Nude Mood palette, which is my go-to. Like, I'm obsessed with this one. So yeah, that is that. I think I might end up moving this around, but just for now, this is what we have. I also have some other palettes over here. Some larger ones, which I forgot about. I have my Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, more ABH. Let's see. Let's take these out. We have some more over here. I'm just kind of moving everything around over here. Bringing out all the palettes. So these are all palettes that I know I want to keep. So I'm just need to find a place and a way to organize them. Okay. All right. So we have all of these. Now let's just go through them. And like I said, I might end up changing the way that some of these are organized so that we can fit them better. Oh, I think that'll be a good one here. So I have my Melt Cosmetics 27 palette, which is such a beautiful, like, fall tones color. We also have the Naked Heat palette, which is very similar to that one, but I absolutely love that color, like the whole like way that it's set up and pretty much everything. We have 2 e.l.f. palettes, which I've been obsessed with, especially this one. This is the Retro Paradise one. So we have that, and then I also have the Opposites Attract palette, which is really pretty, and I feel like it has such a large range of color, which is awesome. I have my Dose of Color Desi X Katie collection called Friendcation, which is such a good palette. They literally can never discontinue this because it's so good. This eye topper, I think it's called Just a Kiss. Yes, so good to put over any look. It is just beautiful. So I'll definitely be keeping that. I have another Anastasia one. This one is called Prism, I think it is, the Prisms palette. So we can add that to that collection. I have one more Huda, which is the latest addition to the collection, and I cannot wait to use this. That's another reason why I wanted to do this, because I have palettes that I don't even remember purchasing. But can we just take a look at this beauty? Like, this is just such a beautiful color story. Like, it's just gorgeous. So I'll definitely be keeping that one. Let's put it together with the Huda family and kind of just move this. So I do kind of want to keep them by brand. So that's why I said I'll kind of just see what I have so far towards the end, and then we'll rearrange them. I have my Natasha Zenona gold palette, which I think is my favorite palette of hers thus far, which I need to use a lot more because, hello, Natasha Denona, she is not cheap. And yeah, I need to use it. And I also have the Sunset palette, which The shimmers are really good, so I'll still keep them, but surprisingly, the mattes just don't work the same. And I've had this one for years, so I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it, but it's just so sad because I'm like, you're so expensive to get messed up so fast. But we'll definitely keep her and see if she continues to give us what we want. But that's that. Yeah, we still have that one. I have my Milani matte for mattes. Oh no, this one is Most Loved Mattes, which once again, definitely keeping because I'm all about the mattes lately. We have this Too Faced The Natural Nudes, which is such a beautiful palette as well. And it comes with really, really great shimmers and stuff. So keeping that one. And then I have this Pat McGrath, which is just gorgeous, divine. I don't know what else to call it. It's just like, wow. These shimmers are just next level, and I definitely need to get more use out of that. We also have another Milani palette. This one is called the Pure Passions, and this one has a little bit of mattes and a bit of metallics. So that one is really pretty. Then I have two Kylie palettes, which this one I think is called the Burgundy palette, and this one is called the Bronze palette. So I'll be keeping these two. Okay, so we're pretty much done with those palettes. Now we just need to tackle the smaller ones. And actually, I have more palettes. I'm looking at my desk and I'm like, wait, there's more. So I have these. Okay, so I also have these. This is the Nudes of New York Maybelline palette, which is so good. Once again, if you can see a theme here, this girl is all about nudes and neutral palettes. I also showed these in, I think, my previous video where I came across the brand Profusion and I bought like 3 of their palettes and I'm obsessed with it. So I have, ooh, I almost dropped that. So I have this Basics palette. I have this Bare palette, really pretty. And then I also have this Mauves palette. Oh, I haven't even opened this one, so we need to open that one. But this is the Mauves. So definitely keeping that. Let's see how we can put those, how we can keep that. And then my 2 most used palettes, literally since I got them like a few weeks ago, the Stone Cold and the Bare Necessities palette from Colourpop. Honestly, I literally feel like I wouldn't need any other palette in my collection if I just have these 2, because they have such good neutral colors, pretty much every color that you can think of. But surprisingly, the only color that I see that is like missing here is that pukey brown that I mentioned the Kathleen Lights palette has, which literally that's like the only thing that this is missing. But these 2 palettes are perfection. And yeah, okay, so now we're ready to tackle the last drawer. So let's get to that. Guys, so eyeshadow collection has been condensed and I still have a lot of eyeshadow, but this looks so much better than what I had before. And I literally can see all of my palettes. I pretty much added all the smaller ones. So I have like some of my Colourpops here, which are really, really pretty. I'm obsessed with this one, this It's My Pleasure. And I'm just happy that I can literally see all my eyeshadow palettes here. So absolutely love that. I have my Huda Beauty smaller ones here. We have some Milani, which I really like as well. These like smaller palettes, which are really good for travel. So let's just make sure that those are here. I have my smaller Natasha Denona palettes, which are really cute and I can actually like see them. I just love that now I can see all my eyeshadow palettes. So hopefully now I have no excuse. I can get much more use out of all of them. I have my Profusions over here. We have like some Colourpops, which I've had. This one is a holiday 2017. It's insane. It literally says it right there. I think this came out when Colourpop collabed with Sephora and they were in stores. They have such pretty colors, so definitely keeping that. But yeah, so this is part 1 of my organization and declutter. I'll show you guys a picture of all the palettes that I took out. And yeah, so next up we have pretty much everything else in the next collection. So we'll see what we tackle next. So these are all the palettes that I took out. So I have the two Morphe ones that I showed you guys earlier. Putting those to the side because we're gonna take those out. The Juvia's palettes as well. I'm not gonna be using this. I have these Colourpops, and this is when Colourpop first came out with just pressed eyeshadows. But I have a lot of these colors in. Actually, you know what? I might see which ones of these I like and put in that that palette. But these are, I've had these since literally, oh, I'm definitely keeping this color. I've had these since Colourpop first came out with pressed eyeshadows, so I just bought like kind of like a few of them, but I think I'll definitely be tossing the majority of those out. Don't need them, and the packaging is just so bulky for these, for just 4 eyeshadows, like no. I have these two Lorac palettes that my sister had given me a few years ago. This one's the gold, it's really pretty, but I literally never use it. I also have this one, which is more like mauve, never use it. Getting rid of this ABH Mario palette, which is so good, and I'm sad to like leave it, but she's old. She's really old. We have this Morphe X Kathleen. Getting rid of this Pacifica one, which I think I also mentioned. There's a few that I've mentioned already. So I have this one that I showed you guys. I think I showed you guys also the Nude Beach one that I'll be getting rid of because I have a lot of these colors already in other palettes. Oh yeah, this is the other Juvia's palette that I have. I have 2 of these looking in my collection, so I'll definitely donate this one or give it to a friend. I have this Wet palette, which is super cute, the Morphe one, getting rid of all of these. I have this Wet n Wild one, which I have quite a few already, so I think I'll get rid of this one. We have this Sigma palette, which I don't really get much use out of, so we could get rid of that. I have this Dose of Colors, which is awesome for that. I have these minis of the e.l.f. quads, which are doubles, so I'll get rid of those. I have this Kylie Chill Baby palette, which I was obsessed with when I first got, but I have these colors pretty much in other palettes, so I don't think I'll be keeping it. But my favorite was definitely Mrs. Claus. Like, that was such a beautiful color, and I'm literally always drawn to that type of shade. Let's just swatch it right here so you can see it. It has like a reddish undertone. Let's see. Come on, light, work with me. I'm like trying to get it to show it. There we go. Beautiful. But like I said, I have that in a few other palettes, so I don't necessarily need that. One more of the Colourpop. This is pink. I don't know why I bought so many pink eyeshadows because I don't wear them. And then the last one is this summer palette from Urban Decay. All right, so that will conclude the first part of my makeup organization where we started with eyeshadow. We'll see what we go to next, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it inspired you to declutter or organize. That's always something good to do, especially if you're home. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.